Hello, today I'm going to show you how to make felt from a technique called wet felting. These are some of the things that we're going to be able to make. You might like to make a key ring for your keys, a hairband for a ponytail, a badge to put on your t-shirt or your rucksack, a mug mat for your mug, or you might like to make a tag to go on your bag or your rucksack. So what's felt made from? Felt starts out as wool from the sheep. It's then washed and carded so that all the fibres are facing the same direction. It's then wound up in a long continuous roll and dyed into some of these beautiful colours, ready for us to make felt. Let's have a look at the equipment we'll need. When felt was discovered thousands of years ago, they found that the wool felted together because it got warm and wet, and friction caused the fibres to felt together. So today we need water for moisture. We need to create friction, so we're going to use this bamboo mat, and we're also going to use soap because the alkaline in soap helps the fibres in the wool to open up and start to felt together. And it also helps with the rubbing to create the friction. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is take some wool, unwind it, and we're going to pull it apart. And the way to do this is to use your palm of your hand and your fingers and gently pull it apart. And we're going to lay it in one direction first of all, like this, until we've filled up our bamboo mat. When you can't see any more of the mat through the wool, you then need to put your second layer, and this time we're going to go vertically. Checking that I can't see any holes or gaps, I'm going to put a third layer, and this last layer will go horizontally. And so I have a sandwich of fibres going horizontally, then vertically, then horizontally. Doesn't matter which order you do it in, as long as they go horizontally and vertically and layer up, because it's really important. It helps the fibres to felt together. So the next thing we need to do is to get the fibres wet. And to protect them and to stop them moving about, we're going to use a piece of net curtain. So we're going to take our water and sprinkle it over the top. And it's important here to try and get just the right amount of water, not too wet, but not too dry. So just do it gently and take your time. and we're going to spread it out to the edges so that we don't get any air bubbles. We can have a quick look just to see that it's going through. As you can see, it's starting to go through and get wet. So now we're going to introduce the soap, the alkaline, to help the fibres to open up and to swell and help in the felting process. So we're going to use our soap block and rub out towards the edges. Let's check and see whether we're getting a good coverage. Okay, as you can see, the bits at the edges aren't quite wet enough, so we can just add a little bit more water to those. Replace our curtain. And now we can use our hands to really rub those fibres together and get them swelling up and starting to felt together. This stage, we should be able to pick it up carefully, turn it over and check whether the soap and the water has got through to the other side. Put your net curtain back on and give it another rub. Right, the next stage is called fulling, and this is when we start to shrink the felt and it starts to harden. But before we do that, what we need to do is get rid of some of this soap. We take some water and we very carefully rinse our piece of felt out. At this stage, it's still very delicate, so be as gentle as you can. Now the next stage is the rolling stage. This is where we felt the fibres together using friction. We're going to roll our piece of felt up into the bamboo roll, and then we're going to start rolling. It's a good idea to count, because then you get an even coverage of felting. I like to count to about 40. Let's have another look at it. You can fold in the bits to straighten up the edges. And then we roll again. And then we'll do it one more time. Now the last stage of the process is to shock the fibres and to really make sure that they felted together. And we do this by putting it in to some hot water. So take our piece of felt, and it's much, much stronger now. Put it into the hot water. and really squeeze out all the soap. You can return it to the bamboo mat and just give it a few more rolls. And there we've got our finished piece of felt, which we can then make into all sorts of things.